everyone, welcome to the Captain Drone YouTube channel. My name is Steve and this would be the FIMI Mini 3. And the reason I'm reviewing this drone indoors is because check this out. It has been raining for the last 3 days and I can't get outdoors, so I can't fly this outdoors. So this is an indoor review of this baby. This little guy is new on the market for the year 2024. It is under 250 grams. It does have an improved camera that shoots at 4K 60 frames per second. And it has night vision. No, not night vision like this with green and shooting through the dark, more like taking video in low light scenarios, like if you want to film at night. There is improved transmission technology, which means if you're holding the remote here and this thing is out a few miles away, it shouldn't have any problems with communicating. As a matter of fact, there's really good error correction now. So you can fly up to 9 kilometers away, which is about 5.5 miles, and you should have no issues. The included battery will get you about 32 minutes of flight time. If you buy the Plus battery, you can get 37 minutes of flight time. But the good news is if you own the FIMI Mini 1 or 2, well, the batteries from that work in here, no problem. And of course, since it is a FIMI Mini drone, it does have tracking to follow you. It does have waypoints. It does have quick shots and a pile of other features that I'll show you in another video. This video is focused on an indoor flight only. So what you're going to see in this video is me flying this drone through my house to see how it flies. And more importantly, you see these little sensors on the bottom? They have to work and keep this locked into position while you fly indoors, so we're going to be testing that out. Also, the new feature in the camera up front is a night mode. It's for filming at night. So if I turn off all the lights in my house and make it really dark in my house and fly this through my house, will it bang into everything? I guess we'll find out in this video. Check it out. The FIMI Mini 3 is down here, already powered on, and it is connected to the remote automatically. As soon as you power on the remote, they connect automatically. Now we just have to open up the app and we want the FIMI Navi Mini. There we go, and enter device. I've turned on my phone record, so you should see what my phone is displaying. First off, when everything starts up, you get a status screen to tell you everything's okay, or you can adjust certain parameters. It's up to you. When you fly indoors, your FIMI Mini 3 will try to get GPS satellites, but it's impossible indoors, so it's always going to say that on the screen. Which is also why it says up top, ready to go VPU. So that's using the visual positioning unit on the bottom. And that's what we're going to fly with. If you look at my phone screen, I've gone into the resolution we're going to record at. So I'm in 4K and you can do 30 frames per second, 25 frames per second, or 24 frames per second. But if you follow my finger and you go up to this one, 4K Ultra, click on that, you can go up to 60 frames per second or 50. We're going to film in 60. Our video quality, we want it on high. We're going to leave the color on general. I could put it on vivid to make the colors brighter, but I'll leave it on general. Since we're indoors, I've turned on HDR to get rid of some of the shadows. And we're going to leave all video camera settings on auto. And we're going to fly around with the indoor house lights on. This will give it enough lighting that the VPU should work okay. Now in flight number 2, I'm going to turn all the lights off and it's going to be darker in here, and we're going to see how the camera does with no lighting and the VPU, which should not be as good, but we'll give it a shot. Here we go. Turn recording on. It tells me with recording on and video transmission, the temperature is going to rise, so take off quickly, which is normal. So to take off, there's an auto takeoff button here and one here, but I'm going to use the joysticks because I don't want to hit my ceiling up there, so I'm going to control the takeoff. So pull down and in, spin up, use the left joystick to launch. There we go. And I'm going to control the height so that it's not going to do anything erratic. So you can see the VPU positioning is trying to lock into something on the ground. And it's having a little bit of difficulty, but there, it's got it now. So now it sees the ground and it's holding itself nice and steady. I can walk around it. There we are. Perfect. And you should see me in the front. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to bring it down a little bit to the ground so I can look at this and look forward at the same time. And the record's on, so let's fly through the house and see what it looks like. I guess the first thing I should do before I go any further is change the flight speed. So on your options, you can change the speed. I'm going to click on that now. Options. You can see flight mode down here. I'm in normal speed. I want to go to smooth. There we go. Now we're in smooth. A little bit better for indoors. That means it's going to make wider turns, but smoother turns. Nothing abrupt. Here we go. Going forward, and let's look down my little area here. Nice slow turn, so it looks cinematic. What I'm trying to do is give you the view that you would get if you were a real estate agent flying through a house and taking some video. Most houses, if it's a dull rainy day out like it is today, there's not a lot of light in them, so the drone has difficulty flying indoors and filming. So we're seeing how this does on a dull day. If it was beautifully sunny, lots of light in the house, this thing would be phenomenal. But right now it's struggling, but it's doing quite well. Coming around the corner, it's a little bit brighter out here. Let's see how it does going down a hallway with a dead end. Okay, let's go this way down dead end. All right, I'll let it sit there. And now the tricky part is I got to do a 180 without hitting the wall. That's next to impossible with a little drone, because look at it. The wind is bouncing off the walls and making it flop all over the place. Very difficult to control. So I will try it, but I got to... I'm probably going to hit the wall. Oh, almost there. Oh my God. I don't know. Trying again. This is difficult for any drone in the world to do, because the wind bounces off the walls and pushes it left to right. Oh, I got it. All right. Let's bring it on back quickly. There we go. And I forgot I'm in smooth mode. The braking is very, very slow. All right, let's get that going again. All right, let's take off again. And go on up. Here we are. You can see it's a pretty solid little drone, smashed into the wall, flies right away immediately. So let's go forward. And this time we'll go into my dining room. It's a little brighter in here because there's a window. And then let's get it over quickly. And now we're in the dining area. Try not to smash into any lights up in the ceiling or anything like that. You can see as soon as it went over my table, it lifted in the air because all of a sudden it sees there's something below it. That little sensor on the bottom is always looking at what's on the ground. So as I'm flying forward, if I drive away from the table here, fly over it, it's going to drop. There we go. See what I mean? It drops because it tries to keep itself at the same height based on that sensor. So when you're flying indoors, try to keep whatever's underneath it at exactly the same height. So let's go forward again. We'll go this way. And we'll go this way over the table. And we'll go through the door. And now we're back into the kitchen. And I'm going to land it over here. Just pull down on the left joystick to land. And we're good. And going down. Whoa! Well, that's not where I want it to land, but apparently if you're on the edge of the table, that's where you land. Let's put you up there. All right. Let's take a look at some indoor drone footage with the lights on. First thing you'll notice is that the lights give off a very yellow hue, so that's why everything looks yellow, but when you point at something like the windows, the white balance turns to normal colors. Now for me, I found it very easy to fly the drone through the house. It's very stable when there's enough light for the sensor on the bottom to pick up the ground and stay still in the air. I did notice the drone does move up and down a little bit, not side to side, but a little bit up and down, but you can compensate for that. So all in all, I thought it did okay. So for test number 2, we're going to take this, I'm going to shut off all these lights. It's not going to be very good. And I'm going to change the setting on here to film at night. Okay, so all the lights are off in my house. There's light coming in from the window a little bit, but if I walk this way, you'll see what I mean. It's very dark in here, and of course down there, and of course down my hallway. I do not recommend anybody ever try this, but this is a test to see how well the FIMI Mini 3 works with no light. So this little sensor underneath, this visual positioning sensor, is going to have tons of difficulty. I'm going to leave it in 4K 60, but I am going to change the night vision. So down here on the bottom left, if you tap the moon, you will see activate super night scene, and I'm going to activate it. So you see now my image on my phone display just became brighter. I'm going to hit record. So this would be like recording in the late evening as the sun's going down. Here we go. Once again, let's take off. There's no good visual positioning underneath, so it's going to flop all over the place. Let's go up. All right, let's bring it over here so I can control it. It's actually not doing bad. I'm letting it go. No, it's going to crash. It's going to crash into something. Yeah. It can't lock on to anything because it's not bright enough in here. It's too dull in the house. So if I let it go, it just drifts. All right. So let's go forward. Now for you watching through my cameras, it may not look as dark as it really is because the camera on my head filming this, as well as the drone camera, it lightens everything up for the human eye. So it might not look as dark in here as it really is, but it's pretty dark. We do have our bright window up ahead. That's the only light coming in, so it should film that okay, but everything else it will film dark. But it's still working. You really have to control the drift because it doesn't want to stay perfectly still in the air. Let's get through here. Go through here. And go through here. Go through my dining area. That was a little too fast. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. I got through the dining area. Bring it back. Get away from the window. And let's turn it back this way. Okay. And then let's take it forward. The only light is up ahead. You can see it straight ahead. There we are. How is that? And we'll land it this time properly. There we go. Now let's take a look at that drone footage flying through the house with all the lights off, with super night scene activated. I must admit I'm very impressed with the results. There is no lights on in the house and this is picking up a half decent image. Certainly you do have grain and noise in the darker portions, but the video is actually usable for most people filming. Now if you're doing something professional, obviously you can't use this footage, but for personal use or social media settings, it's actually pretty good. So now let's quickly compare the two videos. You have lights on and the camera is set to normal, and then you have lights off and it's extremely dark in the house and active night mode is enabled. Do you notice that the active night mode video actually looks better than the lights in the house on mode? Of course, as I've mentioned many times, there is noise and grain shown in the darker portions of the active night mode. However, overall, it doesn't look half bad. So the takeaway from this is that the FIMI Mini 3 can actually film in low light scenes. Alright, so you're back to me and you want to know my final thoughts on flying this indoors. Now I can tell you, being Captain Drone, I've flown all the DJI very popular, very professional drones indoors. And I will say it flies somewhat similar, but if I had to compare it to a DJI drone, I mean an upper level DJI drone like the Mini 4 Pro, well, the Mini 4 Pro is a lot more stable, solid compared to this. But this is not a Mini 4 Pro. Obviously it's a lot less in price, so you get a little bit less considering the sensors below. But compared to the low quality DJI mini drones, like any mini drone by DJI with the letters SE in it, well, this is pretty much similar for stability for indoor flight. But my takeaway is that I was kind of impressed with the night mode feature on here for filming indoors. It was pretty dark. This could film well. Obviously, these sensors are pretty much useless when there's no light, but that's true of most drones. But I'm curious to see how that night mode filming feature works outdoors in pitch blackness with city lights and such, street lights. Well, you're going to see that in part 2 when I take this outdoors and fly it around and show you some of the features outdoors. That's coming up soon. And I mean soon as in when the sun comes out and the rain stops, then I'll take this outdoors. So to end this video, what I'll do is I'll put links to this product below. It's available on different sites, so check out the links below. You can find out the price for your area. I think it's available on BANGGOOD as well, so there might be a discount code. Check that out, and yeah, hope you enjoy it. So with all that said, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will catch you in a future video called part 2 when you see this flying outdoors. Until then, I say bye!